In a little studio on the edge of town, Joshua and Jerry shooting the breeze around, talking about the small things that make life grand. Two kindred spirits with mics in their hand.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the sesh. Today I got Jerry Leal. Jerry, we've been friends for a while, dude, and we've always been into the same circles and all that stuff. We always talk about entrepreneurship and busting our balls in life and working hard.
Yes,
but we wanted to talk about investments, alternative investments, and you brought a shitload of badass stuff today.
A couple of things, man. A little couple of alternative investments for the everyday man.
For the everyday man. But before we go into that, it's a hard thing, dude. Like going through entrepreneurship, going through life, it's always difficult. So what are like your top 3 tips that you can give somebody that will keep trudging along, keep moving along when they felt like they've gotten their face dumped in the mud, they still have bills to pay, and they're fighting every single day? Well, what do you do? What do you tell somebody?
Yeah, I'd say personally for me, what's helped keep me grounded and present per se would be my hobbies. I run to them right away to help kind of sort out my thinking. Sounds corny, whatever, but it works. Whether to some people it can be exercise, basket weaving, cooking. You know, for me, collectibles. You know, I can go on eBay and just look for a Green Ranger helmet. Who knows, right? Just something that will take me back to when I was a kid and I didn't have these challenges that I grew up to have, but they're a result of my goal chasing, right? So it's kind of like
fulfilling.
It is what it is. Like I went out to seek something greater, so it's gonna bring in some challenges that I might not know and understand, and might make me feel a little flustered. But it's kind of like a little bit of self-awareness. You know, giving yourself time to not feel like you know, comparison is the thief of joy. It's a true thing. You know, I like I was telling you earlier, I try to stay in my lane. There's a lot of ambitious projects out there that I wanna try to challenge and things like that. But I know that I still have a lot of organizing to do with my portfolio per se before I go out and try other things. So, you know, mainly that hobbies, family, and then purpose. You know, what are you chasing? For me, you know, there's a saying that goes, what is it? Don't complain about what you once prayed to have, or something like that, right? Like what you currently have is what you wished for.
Right.
But I mean, it's like every new business is like a child, you know, and you have to nurture them, you have to grow them, and eventually they need you less and less. You have to take that perspective into every new project, like it's a child. Especially if you're a parent, you kind of know some of a lot of that unknown, that emotion that comes with that scary feeling of like, oh, this is new to me. Don't be freaked out with that. Every project you try or challenge, because it's supposed to be, it's a natural feeling, you know, a little uneasiness and all that good stuff. So,
but I would say that a lot of that comes with experience. Like,
yeah, I mean,
being drugged through the mud many times, failing many times, and then figuring out finally.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah, you're right.
I mean, like I sometimes I do a lot of business with a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, and I see a lot of stuff that I'm just like, what, you know? Again, I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes, but I can say they're mistakes, like my mistakes, my bad, my carelessness, or my lack of preparation on me, right?
On me, yeah.
Other people be like, nah, man, the weather, or
the responsibility,
or this, and I'm like, well, yeah, but you know.
Yeah, and what you're talking about is shiny object syndrome, because I have that too, man. Like I everything that I think I've had success in, I think I can tackle on this next project or this next project, and there just is not enough time in the world. Like there is not, dude. You are one person that can only tackle so many projects before your mind gets blown between all these different things, and then what? Like you're tackling on 10 different projects?
And the way I kind of line my things up are like, okay, which one's going to lose or cost us the most?
Yeah.
And then just go down. And I mean, I listen to everything, but I have to just go one at a time, because you'll never get organized. And I mean, it's a challenge, but again, my hobbies are what kind of help me stay grounded. My interest in seeing my portfolio grow, in my collectibles, in my memorabilia, you know, that helps take me out of the real business world for a little bit. Yeah. And you'll find your enthusiasm for your work through it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like I'll get excited and I'll be like, man, I really want that collectible. Well, you ain't gonna get it by just double tapping on eBay for it, right? So it kind of locks me back in. It sounds funny, but I mean, I have a lot of wants, right? Yeah. And they're things that I saw when I was a kid, watching MTV and stuff. I'm like, when they do the cribs and you see the stuff they have on their walls, I grew fascinated by all that stuff, the story behind each item and stuff. So, I mean, that's my advice. Yeah. Again, it's not going to be pleasant, but you have to fight harder than you think your problems are fighting you to just believe that it's not the end of the world. If it doesn't have to do with health, you're gonna be capable to find a solution. It's not gonna come to you right away. Go for a jog, read a book, write in a journal, do something outside of just your norm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or find a healthy norm. Right. I like to try to wake up early to exercise. I like to stay up late looking through my cards, and in between the day, I budget some family time, business. And new relationships, So it's, that's that.
It's an interesting thing in life because I think the older you get, the more that you want to be able to go do things, but a lot of people are stuck there. A lot of people feel stuck and they feel like they can't do much. And I feel like the alternative investment space, being able to invest in something besides yourself, obviously, because I feel like that's the number one thing that you have to invest in.
And it can be free. You can just go outside and just learn
anything.
That's my best exercise. Going for a run. It's the most therapeutic thing, even for a walk. You don't need a gym membership, a trainer. Yeah. Those are excuses to just not do it.
Yeah.
Work avoidance. But
well, I think taking responsibility, because even myself, like when I go to the gym now, it's like I probably wouldn't take the gym as serious as I do now if I didn't have a trainer. Like, because even I know all the exercises already. I do it all the time.
Then hang out with me. Shit, dog. You need a trainer. You need better friends. Come on, dog. Come on. We'll get you up.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I feel like a lot of people need to be told what to do.
100%. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, taking action and finding someone or being around a space with people that influence you to get out of that shell and getting your ass to it is a good thing. That's initiative in itself. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, damn, I
self-responsibility.
No, because don't get me wrong. I've signed up to the gym and stuff too. I've had a trainer when I just completely cannot get into it, and I'm just like, maybe I'll be embarrassed enough to when this guy's like, yo, you got to do it. And it locks me back in until I get on my rhythm. And then I just try to keep that discipline and whatever I, attain from being around these people just to not fall off and just to try to like, all right, challenge yourself to do this new behavior of waking yourself up, not negotiating with your feelings. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure we don't feel like working out. It's just.
Oh, dude, I hate it. I tell everybody all the time, it's like the last thing I want to do is go lift heavy ass weights.
Man,
like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So I don't think people really believe me. It's like when I say it, it's like, I don't like working out. I like the results.
I love the exchange.
The exchange, you're healthy. You feel good. You feel like more like a man. You feel like
great.
An able body.
You feel good.
Yeah,
I mean, even the oxygen just hits your skin different. I mean, it's good.
And the fountain of youth is truly found in diet and exercise. 100%. I 100% believe that, man. I had never stumbled upon it until I got into my 40s. And I felt like, shit, it was too late. Yeah. But it's really not.
No, it never is, bro. Yeah. Especially if you got a passion for what you like to do, that's only going to supplement that activity even more and just bring out more glow in you. I mean, you look great every time I see you. You just keep getting better and better. And it just comes from doing what you love and finding ways to stay creative through it. And
well, it does suck. I will tell you this because I am usually the first person in this whole complex here. And I'm usually, I'm out by 5, but I'm here literally working all day, working on stuff that I want to achieve. And I'm by myself. So I don't think people really understand like the discipline you have to be able to do something that you want to do in life. That it's kind of like, it's going to come in the next year. It's going to come in the next 5 years, but you got to put in the work every single day and force yourself to literally align in what you're going to do for the next 5 years, the next 10 years. I don't think people really think about their life past next year.
And it's really hard, especially with the internet, to get distracted. One of the things that I try to practice is I try not to scroll down. So I'll open my socials, and if I see something that somebody I know or something like that, I'll engage. But the scrolling, I mean, I've caught myself scrolling for 15, 20 minutes, and boom.
It's the biggest time waster, man.
It is what it is, right? Yeah. And if I do catch myself scrolling, I focus as hard as I can for it to be in my business pages so that I'm pushing out some content or reshares or something like that. But we got to stay away from too much internet. Unless, again, you have a purpose for what you're doing and you're putting out content. I mean, force yourself into a behavior where, like, every time I log in, I'm going to drop something, a quote or something positive.
Something positive, give back.
Yeah, especially now. I have a little girl who just turned 8, so she's become more and more aware. They know how to read and all this stuff. And I know that eventually they're going to
they're going to look back at your
They're going to look back. And I want them to look back and be like, yo, like your dad never complained about, I had my problems, but they don't belong on Facebook. That's my scrapbook. I don't have a journal that's that detailed. And I like going back on memories and stuff like that. And I try to tell people that like, yo, eventually your kids are going to look back and see what you were complaining about, freaking a $200 pay raise or losing, this or that, like.
Bronco 956
The Bronco 956 was the center of your attention, or he made you that mad when there's like real things in the world that you should focus on trying to make some difference in. I get it. Entertainment is one thing, but
and you're absolutely right, because I touch on that all the time too. Is like when I put out the content that I put out, it's purposeful. It's meaningful, and because I know one day I might not be around, right? I don't know what the future holds. Right? So my kids are going to be here, and they might look back at the stuff that I put online and YouTube and Facebook, and they're going to get a sense of who their dad was. And I want them to know that he had some integrity, he worked hard, he had some work ethic, and he put good into the world.
100%.
And one of the things that I remember back was a girl's passing away from cancer, and she had asked me if you can help me create some content for her. And at the time, our schedules didn't work out, right? But I felt that as like she wanted to leave a lasting impression for her daughter, because these are all she's going to know by.
Scary.
So it's an interesting thing that you can literally leave your life behind and your legacy through social media, through YouTube and all that stuff.
We'll see. I mean, it's fast to reference. I mean, I want my kids. I only have one, right? But eventually, if I have more, to look back at what I was doing in 2020, was not complaining, spreading positivity, growing, buying, investing more and more and more, and that's it, because. It's the reality of the world, It's a different time right now. I'm so happy to be in the age range that I'm at, where I got to see and remember the 90s and then the 2000s, and then what is this phase?
What is now?
Whoa, right? Woo!
Yeah, surprise!
It's pretty cool. I mean, definitely a way lower profile than I had back in the day, but because it's wild just seeing it from like the sidelines now, I guess, and just focusing on the little things that I like to do that help keep my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's wild, but shit.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I'm interested in the investment space. I've been super heavy into crypto and super heavy into Bitcoin and alternative investments, and I feel like every time I talk about it, I feel like I'm an alien, just one of like one people talking about it. Yeah. So it's very hard to talk about this stuff, dude.
I think my opinion is, like, the people who have good information or good input are not going to put it out for free.
Yeah.
Especially not on Facebook, right? So I know that people who know what you're talking about are watching. Just got to be careful on what we say there. And it's just, but it's really good what you're doing, because, you're opening people's eyes to do their own research little by little. I know it helped me kind of clean up a lot of the things that I was working on just by listening to some of the things you would say. I'm like, oh, that's a good point, because it's applied experience. You're not talking in theory or what is. It's kind of like, this is what I'm currently doing. Or you have someone as a guest that's talking about how they're applying what they know and maybe how people can do stuff like that. And that's why I had chimed in, and I'm like, stocks are great, but sometimes it does to normal people. Language they don't understand. And I said, why don't we try to do something more? I mean, they can go to a corner store right now and pick something up, put it away, and if anything, build a little discipline on how to invest and scale as they go.
Right.
Start with a $100 baseball card, $10 baseball card. If you can manage that $10 into 20, that's good.
Just doubled your money.
Just doubled your money. Yeah. Just take the discipline.
But I feel like also if it's, because this is a perfect example. Somebody said the other day, hey, I bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. Am I going to make $1 million? I was like, no, it doesn't work like that.
No. I mean, if you're clever enough, it can. If you know how to make things work for you, right? But it comes through. What is it? Trial and error. It's not going to come on just on sheer wisdom and enthusiasm. You have to be ready to take some hits. It's a fight. Yeah. And for me, the thing that I've enjoyed was the pandemic, bringing collectibles up to light. Collectibles is something that I got into because of my dad. My dad would have me sort out all the cards that he'd buy. He'd buy cards, like just buy boxes, and he'd be looking for whoever he was looking for. And unbeknownst to me, I'd just be sorting them out 1 through 10, 20, boom, 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 so that when he's done looking through who he's looking to, all the scrub cards are in order so that they can be easily filed up, put them in the box, and it's just, what's sort of like a library categorized, and it's, but I was around it so long, and he'd always have the game going, and you start hearing these names over and over on ESPN, and it's just, I was like, well, who's that? And then you start seeing some crazy plays, and it draws your attention. Yeah. So through there, we put away a couple of cards of my own, and as I grew, I looked at some cards that I wish I could have, grew ambitious, one day I want that, whatever. But then I grew up. Went to college, started business, kind of forgot about cards, but we put almost everything away. Pandemic came around and everything went up. It was crazy. So I used a lot of that stuff to kind of touch up the portfolio that I had, which was now called a portfolio. Before it was just a box of cards, right? We touched up cards. I ended up getting cards that I've always been a fan of and stuff like that I never thought I'd be able to get because of the boom in the interest for collectibles, right? Even traded some for food trucks. It was crazy stuff.
Crazy. We'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah. So one thing that people would have a lot of kind of trouble with was kind of like, how do I know the value of what I got? How do I know how to start cross-referencing, finding content on either a card or a plush doll, right? So that's one of the main things I wanted to kind of try to get on here to kind of give a quick tip on telling people how much their collectibles are worth, or what's the easiest way to find your collectible and see if you have something or not, instead of showing up with a box of like 5,000 cards and to someone who has little time to look through them. I mean, even if it's a second a card, that's hours of sitting down, you know what I'm saying? So eBay, really fast. And I will make this real simple.
Go for it.
You don't even have to see, just listen to me. You can play this back later. So you download the eBay app. eBay's not paying for me to say this, but they should. Give them a 5-star review right there. So for example, we're gonna search here. You can put, let's put Barry Bonds autograph, right? So you put Barry Bonds autograph SPX or whatever you're looking for. It doesn't matter. But you just put it up there in the category. You put it search. And it's going to show you pretty much everything that's available for sale there on that category. You're going to go to the top right corner. It says filter. Scroll down. Show more. Scroll down. And you're going to highlight where it says sold items. Completed items is also going to highlight on its own. Then you go back to the sales screen and you're going to see all the current sales and more recent sales. So that Barry Bonds card, we just saw that it had a current sale of $510 May 5th. You're able to see the number of bids. March 20th, March 10th. And these are real prices on real purchases. So they're not listings, they're actual sales. So they're more realistic gauges on like, yo, people paid this money. Mm-hmm. Paid this money.
You can probably get that.
Not someone's asking for this. Like I can ask for $1 million, but it's a distraction to like the actual possibility of making a deal, right? So that's it. It's just those quick steps. Go to reference it. And then up there, you can see the sort box. It can sort it from the highest sold in a great condition, sold at 510, or you can see from the most recent sold. Very simple. My other app of choice is called, where's that bad boy? It's called Alt, A-L-T. So it's very simple. All you do, you open it up, and you hit the camera button. You take a picture of the card, and it'll pop up all the last sales from it'll be eBay, auction houses, and everything like that. And then from there, you're also able to see the trends of how much your card was worth in 2020 versus how much it's worth right now. And you see right there, you'll be able to kind of assess, is it worth selling? You start looking up the player. Is he healthy? And that's how you have a hobby. It takes some of your time, and now you're fixed on, this card has potential. This card doesn't. Thank goodness I'm not wasting my time.
Right.
And that's how you sit down. You sort your own collection through this type of cross-referencing.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because what you're talking about takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you've done it for so many years to be able to distill this down into a very, 2 minutes.
Yeah, just quick.
So I don't think people really get that. Like the value that you're bringing is accumulative years of knowledge of doing it in here.
And using apps that completely suck to cross-reference as well. I had to go through a bunch of bad ones, but this is the one that, again, has had the most result for me in striking deals. I mean, if it wasn't for those apps, there'd be a lot of deals that would have gone undone because of the uniqueness of certain cards. You can't find everything on eBay. Luckily, this app helps me source out through auction houses and any registries out there that are serious about collectibles. So
let's actually talk about making money from these, because I feel like a lot of people, they'll buy them, they'll hold on to them, and they'll never sell them.
Correct.
Because of the emotional attachment they have to them.
That's where it gets me too.
Yeah. So you lost a ton of money by not holding them on too long.
Held on for too long. Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I think that's one of the most interesting things. Do these things work in cycles?
It does. It's almost like crypto, right? I mean, and you're also at the vulnerability of the player's actions off the field. You know, some guys get in trouble, some guys get hurt on the field, certain movie deals fall off, so they just become irrelevant after a long time. You know, like Tom Brady would have been a good one to sell right now, because what's Tom Brady going to do to raise his value? Yeah. Is he going to win another ring right now? There's nothing he can do in the real world right now to a sports fan to really help him get that increment that he had maybe the year before when he was about to retire. And
that's what would have been valued the most.
And the reason it went up is because of the anticipation that he was going to come back. So it's like you're buying a dip. You're like, well, I'm going to sell because he's retiring. But then you have the other people that are looking for the people that are evacuating, because I believe he's not. Yeah. Same thing in crypto. Well, dump. Okay, well, if I can buy in the dip, I'm going to do it. Well, one wins, one loses, but that's just the game. It's the cycle of this thing. So and
I have that same mentality when it comes to crypto, because at some point they're going to dump on you. Like 100%. At some point, these things work in cycles, and if you don't follow it, you don't understand it, you're not in it every single day watching your investments, you're going to get screwed.
Yeah,
you're going to
get left holding the bags. He who holds last loses. Yeah. Like, you kind of want to cycle something. It doesn't have to be your whole portfolio, but like for me, I collect football, basketball, baseball, even some hockey, Marvel, and they all have seasons and cycles. You know, like right now, we're all fixed on the Mavericks. No one's paying attention to the Cowboys. It's a great time to pick up Dak Prescott, all these guys. It's a good time to pick them up. Once they're in season, it's the other way around.
Got you.
You get the Maverick stuff. Right now, Maverick stuff is at peak. So if you got that Luka you really like, it's a good time to sell it. You can probably buy 2 of them with what you're going to make right now in 2 months.
Yeah, it's called the smart money. The smart money buys in early, not when it's the highest.
Emotionally detached money, you know, because a lot of these pieces, I mean, they tell a story of either when you pulled it or the excitement, the joy of a deal. Most of my deals are out of town with some great people. You know, I'm able to send them a picture like, yo, I still have this, and it'll strike up a conversation about a business plan that I had, that I saw that he can help me execute or something like that. They're great icebreakers. Yeah. Or you find a card rare enough that you can track who's owned it before. You're like, hey, what's up, man? I bought this card from so-and-so. He said you're a great guy. This is what I do. I think we can do something together. Yeah. It's just like playing golf, except I'm not out there for 4 hours.
Yeah,
I just send you a picture of hey, check this out. And I mean, you'll have some of the, I bet I can get Logan Paul to respond, sending them the right content that they're interested in, right? So it's just like that. And I'm not saying it works with everyone, but it's a really good icebreaker because it's like almost like Rolexes. You know what I'm saying? It's a select crowd, but for the most part, they kind of try to gravitate to each other, and it's good conversation pieces for business.
Yeah, it was because a lot of those things, they hold value. So you can think about that. It's like I talked about this the other day on a post. Do you look at somebody that owns a Rolex and drives a supercar differently than you would with regular people? And there's, like you said, there's certain niche of people that gravitate towards that. And I see Rolex as being as a great store of value because they rarely ever lose value.
No, and they tell, it's like, what is it? They tell time, or they tell you how valuable your time is, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's neat. I'm kind of scared of wearing mine. I wear rubber bands now.
You play the inconspicuous role.
Yo, man. No, I like to just go play volleyball every once in a while, or just pick up some sport. And I'm very careless when it comes to, I'm competitive, so I'm just like, that stuff's not for me. I dress in pickup gear just in case. You never know, So but it's also time and place. I know I'm not gonna. It just depends what I got going on. But
yeah, for sure. Let's talk about what we have. A couple of cards right here that you said that we're going for about 15 grand at one point, and this was at about 10 grand.
Yeah.
So potentially, I'm holding about 25 grand worth of cards right here.
4 years ago, yes. And right now, you probably got about 4 grand in your hand, which is still pretty good. It'll
not
get you
enough to buy a Rolex.
Not enough. I got a couple extra ones here. You can line them up, and you'll have enough. But it's enough to kind of get you out of a month or two of rent.
Yeah.
Something like that, a mortgage, and
that's an interesting way to look at things because I don't think people really understand that. Like, touch on that because you have a card right here, right?
Yeah.
That is, what is this Ken Griffey go for right now?
That one in a perfect shape, which we feel that one's in a perfect shape. We're going to send it to get graded. It'll be about $2,000-3,000.
So right there is about, you can pay your mortgage. You can pay your car.
Catch your breath.
Yeah, catch your breath.
Catch your breath. Real quick.
That's the power of an investment.
And look how light that is.
Yeah.
You don't need, you just need the person who wants it to be cash ready.
Yeah.
That's it. There's anything else that you usually need to sell for that type of price. It's either very bulky, this and that,
Yeah. And that's what I really love about crypto and Bitcoin, these cryptocurrencies that are coming out, because this is all digital. Like when we invested heavily into the digital world in 2020, we invested quite a bit of money. Me and Rob, Rob invested quite a bit of money, and we invested about 14 grand into digital land, and it was the wrong digital product that we should have been investing in. We should have been investing in Bitcoin the whole time, but it just goes to show you that like these things happen. Like you have to put the investment forward. You have to be able to have the balls to be able to try this stuff.
I've lost my ass on some of these guys.
Yeah.
Because I had a hunch, but I think those ass whoopings helped me do better research.
Right.
And some people just, they don't talk about their losses. I think you're defined more by your losses because it shows what you've come back from, right? Not all the time, but, you only lose if you stop, right? So if you didn't gain a knowledge on how to reapply your approach to try to come out on top, then shit.
Yeah, I also feel like a lot of people will get like kind of hurts with that. Like, forget this, I'm never going to invest in crypto again. Like, forget that. Like, I lost my ass. But then the thing is, you have to keep going and moving forward and put more of your brain into it, doing more of your own research. Because if you never do, then you're going to be jumping from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing.
And it's just, it's true. They quit everything.
Yeah.
They don't stay long enough to assess why it didn't go their way. They take that feedback emotionally, like just they make that decision or like they give themselves that closure on an emotional impulse instead of like sitting down, writing down some facts. What can I have changed myself? There's nothing you can do about anything you don't control.
Right.
And just find something. There's always something, There's always ways to be accountable. But
yeah, it's an interesting thing, man, because people are going to lose their asses, and it's just going through the cycles of going and over and getting up the next day, regardless of how you feel, getting up and doing the same thing every single day, working towards it a little bit more. When should people throw in the towel?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Never throw it in the towel.
I can't. I have to lose completely so that I played sports, right? And you always hear the biggest regret was when you retire, when you stop, yada, yada, right? So I went till I broke something, right?
Yeah.
And then just everything, I just did my best. I always feel that I did my best. Might not have always worked out, but I feel closure that I did my best. I got to see some cool points, and then it wasn't sustained the right way.
Yeah.
That's it. It didn't go bad. It wasn't sustained the right way. And that's it. Just find something that you can work on, reapply it into the next interest you have. Can you have more to show for that interest than you did for the last one? And I feel that what I'm doing right now is good. It's helping me. It's allowing me to help others. If I only had one person to worry about, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But my focus and my fulfillment comes from, can I teach you to be as good as not as good? Can I teach you what it took me 6 years to learn in 6 months? If I get 10 people like you that I can coach through that, like it puts on so many more people than I can handle firsthand hiring, right? Because now you can hire your own group once you're scaled to do that, right? And that's why I'm just like, hey, I believe in it. I do have my emergency plans just in case.
For sure.
Right? I take care of myself so that's not one of the reasons why I have to sell things. But I think anyone can do it. You just have to really, really disconnect yourself from social media or things that you have no intentions of doing anything to change.
Yeah. Why is it that most people won't stay disciplined in certain things? Like, for example, I know why people give up working out because it takes so damn long for one to get results, and then you got to keep them, and then you got to keep working at it to keep getting those results, and those results are very minimal, right? So, but you got to keep going over and over, year after year after year. What is it about that people keep giving up?
It's just the people you're around as well. Cut off. They're not friends. It's a different time, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to have the boat rowing the same way in some form or fashion, whether it be family values, business values, something. Doesn't always have to be about business, but there has to be that alignment with the people that you're around or self-improvement. Point blank.
So is the saying true that the 5 people that are around you, you become that 5th person?
Somewhat. I'm not around the people that I look up to the most, but I always try to make it a point to send them a little text or some sort of affirmation. ¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo andamos? What are we? How are we? Boom, boom. Something. I need that exchange.
Yeah.
I need to have created that connection, right?
Yeah.
Because I know if I feel I'm busy and I'm still building. I have so much to work on. These guys are built. They don't have the free time I have, right? So it's different to get face-to-face time. And I try to be very, very, very far and apart when I do that. And when I do that, I make sure that it's as productive as possible. But you do need that line, that upline of people you want to be like. Man, I have people I message on Instagram, Salt Bay, since 2019.
Yeah. Nice.
Hasn't opened my messages. But I message them because I know I'm going to see them later.
Yeah.
I'll be like, look, dude, I told you. I've done that before with other people.
Yeah.
And it's something that, I've committed that I'm going to do this food thing for a while, right?
Yeah.
So that's things like that. In my head, you can't grow old. You have to stay excited for goals,
For
sure. Stay childish, stay playful in a sense, right? Stay serious, passionate, all that good stuff too. But I feel and I don't mind being alone. I'm not alone. I got my collectibles. I got an iPhone.
Yeah,
You're not alone.
connected.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
And that's what people need. Oh, that's because they don't have a physical someone there. Like, hey, man, put a podcast on. Play something.
To keep your mind busy.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's different. And you can get better fast, We all work differently.
Yeah.
Some people I think people are more capable than I am because we put out so much content on how to not make as many mistakes.
For sure.
I think if they just exercise the proper due diligence and just research enough, you can you'll start right away not worrying about losing money per se, but you'll be worried about just your next biggest day.
Yeah.
We've done the internet in general. I've learned how to do most of my cooking through the internet, YouTube, and I find the shortest video with the most views.
Yeah.
Vámonos.
Yeah,
Risk it from there.
You're right, man. Yeah, because you can exponentially learn really quick on YouTube, and I'm an A student on YouTube University, so it's an interesting thing. But let's go back to how you were able to work into food trucks to get food trucks by selling some cards, because I think that's an interesting story. Your whole concept of how you invested into your investments, they became business and they helped you get more investments.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of just being organized with my collection once it started to get pretty serious, being around conventions that serious buyers hang out at, and just making a choice. I do have this equity in cards and I love them and I never thought that they'd come up to this, but what's the end game? And it's I told myself, if I can even buy one truck, turning in all my collection, right? I can always sell that truck if I take care of it right for the same amount that I bought it for.
Yeah.
And it wasn't purchased through hard labor. There was, but you can hold them in your hand and exchange something like this for some keys, and you can start 3 jobs tomorrow. You and 2 other people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I had to sit by myself in that thought for a while and be yeah, but I'm also buying into work. I'm not buying,
Right.
I'm going to have to put some time into it. And like I told you, I listened to a podcast on Derek Kenny. It's called Good Money. And he said a quote that, the fastest way to gaining wealth is finding a way to add value to people's lives. And I figured a food truck, for me, those were my means. If I could do more for people, I would. But it'd be the quickest come up, especially for someone who has some skill in the kitchen, an ambition to just want to do better, a need to succeed, necessity. Doesn't always work out, but it does also work out. So, it's been a thrill to see people grow and it doesn't mean that we have to be together forever.
Right.
Grow is the point. I'll never hold anyone back, because every moment that we're doing business, I try to cherish every bit of it, because I feel that they're coming in like a sponge and they're learning. So, it's healthy for me, seeing them get better at a lot of things, right?
Let's talk about a very interesting statistic that I heard the other day. Is 10 to 12 million businesses have closed every single year. It's heart-wrenching. A lot of people work very hard and diligently to be able to have a business, especially in the restaurants, right? And what would you tell those people to help them get ahead, to help them keep fighting an extra day?
You need good friends. Delusional friends that it's going to be okay. Like people who just tell you that it's going to be okay, that's going to be okay. Not people who feed into your problems. Oh, the market is slow. Yeah, it's slow over here too. It's slow. We know this. Yeah. We don't need to hear this. It's not good for us. And you need to tell yourself that, I mean, how easy could it be for me to go downstairs and find any of them and be like, hey, I bet you had a better year last year. What are we going to do with that? Now we both having a bad day, like, But it's also something you can't ignore. You can't. But it's also something that can go without being said, in a sense, right? Like, I mean, have we complained? Yeah. Sure, we haven't had the best year. But look at us. We're chasing the things that we like, we're crazy for, and we know that it gets better. And it happens through practice and stuff like that. I mean, because if it wasn't always like this, my attitude wasn't always... It was always positive, but it didn't believe that it was going to be okay. Now you can't make me unbelieve it. It takes time. It's because you built up so many calluses over the years. And it comes through failing, and it's okay to fail, And people here, they're ashamed of their failure stories, not knowing those are the ones that are going to build them up for the best. Yeah. So, podcasts, go to church. Pray hard. Have some faith. Cry. Let it out. Yeah. Exercise. You're going to get the mental clarity. Don't vent through substance. It's not going to work out. Never does, period. Exercise, movement. You're going to figure it out. If you take those steps, naturally you will figure it out, I see a bunch of people in our organization going through it and handling it with grace. And I'm like, man, that's the one. Yeah. It's not the one that cries, because I see what they're going through, but it's the way I see it. I'm like, oh man, like I know he's having a hard day, but you wouldn't be able to tell. Food, presentation, everything looks good. I'm like, that's good. Yeah. That's good. It's that it in my industry. Same as you see a chef just putting together. I mean, because if you cannot separate that, and if you have a successful kitchen, your emotions will show through your food, and then it's going to create a very bad boom. Right. So I tell my guys, just because it's not a good day, there's nothing. A good day can change a whole month. Right. In food trucks, right? Catering, this and that. The initiative is different. That's why I stick to that. But my best advice is just that. I mean, if you love it enough, you have to look within yourself, and you have to look up these success stories of the people who have made it into corporate companies. Their stories are not walk in the parks. They were defined by their struggle. So maybe this is your turning point. Tell yourself stuff like that. Yeah, the self-talk is very important, because without it, you have to have a strong mentality, because you're right, dude. That same mentality shines through everything. You literally have to get up and do the things that you need to do regardless of how you feel that day. It doesn't matter, because nobody's going to pay your bills. Nobody's going to hold your hand getting you up. Hey, wake up, Jerry. We got to go to work today. You got to take your kid to school. You got to do this. You got to cook. People, the older you get, or like in anything, it is what it is. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think a lot of people need to have that mentality, or at least know about it, because at some point they're going to fail, and a lot of people just give up. You fail hard. Yeah, fail hard. Fail hard. Many times. A lot. You gotta love it, just as much as you love winning. Hey, show me you got a collectible back there, man. I want to see that. I brought something cool. Let's see this. You were one of the first people that got that, man. I was so jealous of you when you got it. This bad boy over here. Look at that. We tried firing up here, but things started beeping around the building, so we had to turn it down. So this is one of the cool collectibles that I picked up from a cool, good friend of mine. Gave me a great deal. Sausy boy, you're the man. So I picked this up, and then I actually have two of them. Let's check this out. One of which I mess around with, the other one that I don't. He's bringing it out over here. And then I'm bringing out something else that's pretty cool. You probably haven't seen it around here.
Oh, shit.
It's the tequila.
Very
exclusive.
Dude, I ordered that and I never got it.
I ordered it and I got more than 2. So yeah, this is very, very. I've heard it's terrible tequila, so we're not gonna touch it. But what I'm trying to say is my passion for collectibles goes beyond cards. It just goes into cool things that I feel in the future they can help. They can help me. They can help my family get out of a bind.
For sure.
And for what it's worth right now, they look cool on our wall.
Yeah.
They tell a cool story. A lot of people haven't seen stuff like this. So I remember when I was a kid and I'd see something cool, how it would make me feel. So I try to carry some stuff with me. So I'm like, hey man, you want to see something cool? I just show them stuff like this. I have movie memorabilia, Pokémon cards that, I mean,
everybody wants to see that tequila bottle. Let's open it up. Let's see it.
I'll open it up. Let's see.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out, dude. I was like, dude, I bought 2, and I didn't get them. They like my card apparently didn't go through or some shit, it didn't let it.
What happened with me was that I got 2 and 1 came cracked.
Oh.
So they sent me a replacement for that one. So I had 3, 2 full and 1 cracked. So here we go.
Ah, that's such a beautiful bottle, dude.
So there we go.
I'm so jealous I didn't get those in, man. Damn. That's legit. So you think about this, the investments that you make in life, the investments that you make in cards and everything.
All the stuff I buy though. Hey, man, my mom's my accountant. She hates everything, but I tell her it's cool stuff, you know. And she said, "Well, it'll be cooler if you sell it." I said, well, it might be, but maybe not just yet. So, yeah, but I mean, it's a thrill. I mean, you can see the joy it brings for me to show it. I mean, for people to see it. I love going to collectible shows and taking new items every time. Just for more than anything for kids, for them to see it, touch it. You know, that's why this one, I mean, because people put their hands on it because I want them to, you know, that's what it's for, you know, so
for sure.
I think it's cool. If it wasn't for the way certain collectors treated me when I was coming up, when my dad would take me to the card shows or the things that my dad showed me, I mean, I wouldn't be as excited to show it to other people or know what kind of would get, you know, I mean, I've given out some crazy cards too to kids. I've given out Kobe rookies, some autograph cards, just because it makes you feel good. And I know that's a story they're going to take with them for a long time. So, this is pretty cool. I wish I had brought my Pokemon collection. I would have freaked out with that. But I have a great little Pokemon collection that it took me a couple years to put together. And that took me a lot of hard work. Yeah. That was a known expense. There was no shortcut to that one. But, it was I have a great hologram complete set of the 1999 base set. So that's real special to me. What else? I mean,
and are you selling any of this stuff? Can anybody buy it from you? Anybody reach out to you?
I mean, they can
make you an offer.
Be friends, but I mean, for the most part, I'd like to trade, you know. But it has to be something cool and unique. Yeah. That way, we both feel the same way.
Got you.
I mean, I'll always sell something, but it has to be to someone that I'm trying to make a connection with, and hopefully takes care of it.
Strategically,
yeah, of course. But I mean, I'll sell. But yeah, man, I mean, this stuff again, I started with $5 cards, and then I learned to take care of it as a $10 card, 15, 20. Floyd Mayweather told me this one thing that Floyd Mayweather told me. He said, "Don't ever be a man ashamed of bending over to pick up a penny. That's 100% profit." And I was like, all right, cool. So since then, I kind of just, you can get really overwhelmed looking at the dollar amount. Oh man, I'm only selling candy apples at $4 a pop. By the time I hit $1 million, yeah, but look at your ratio. You're getting these apples at, let's say, 25 cents with the candy and the stick. You're at 75 cents, $4. Yo, that's a flip.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a flip. You
arbitrage
know?
Right there, man.
Look at that percent. That's that's what the real investor looks at. That percent. You know, if you're disciplined around it, then they'll teach you to scale it. You can teach people that. You know what I'm saying? So those are the little victories you need to find satisfaction in. You know, don't go out hunting go hunt. Right? I'm never gonna say no, but don't lose touch of those little wins. Yeah, you're gonna have you'll feel just as good. I promise. Yeah, I promise. Maybe the bank account won't be as fulfilled, but they feel just as good. That's why I like going to a card show, making a deal for
the little wins, man.
$5 cards. I'm like, and I treat it the same customer service as I'm selling a $5,000 card or whatever. It's just being in that little moment and just,
Finding joy.
finding the joy in the little things like you used to.
Yeah.
Like we all used to.
Yeah.
It's just the internet has kind of, helped us lose a lot of touch.
Yeah.
So manage your screen time. That's something that I try to look at as much as possible. And I try to keep it under 8 hours, like a normal work day, whether it be podcasts or anything, It sounds crazy,
You got to
but
detach yourself.
you have to. You have to try your best. It's good for those around you.
Yeah.
So, or submerge yourself in positivity if you really need it. There's days that I have to go to sleep listening to some sort of podcast. Take me out of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Wake up, I got to keep listening to it. It is what it is. We're chasing big goals, so.
Yeah, you need to have positivity in your life, and it's an important thing to have because everything out there is just so negative. And
it sells more.
Positive. Yeah, it sells more.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the world's already corporate is woke now, and they know how to get us.
Yeah.
I mean, learn to read your labels. The word enriched doesn't mean anything good. You see it, enriched wheat bread, this and that. I'm like, no, it's terrible for you. It's generic. But we don't know any better because there's nothing out there, content that's educating us in English.
Right.
Without the science terms and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I was hoping that I could come in here in English and tell people, and take care of your kids' toys, put them away. They're going to have value later as toys change. Super Nintendos, all that stuff. You saw that it changed now into games are now downloadable. Those cartridges hold value if you take care of them the right way. So don't ever feel like you missed out. Your kid's eventually going to grow up. Take care of their toys. Clean them up when they start growing out of them. Put them in a box. They'll thank you later. Yeah. Not saying to hoard, but
I remember I had the whole 2000 collection of the Hot Wheels, and my son went over to my parents' house. He opened them all. I was like, oh
shit.
Well, whatever.
Kids turn 21, they pop open the Tesla. I'll be like, all right, there's my retirement.
Right. All right, guys, before we finish off the podcast, I'd like to let you all know that I am doing training classes for social media marketing and advertising this summer. So if you're interested, if you're an individual, if you're a business owner, hit me up. We'll figure it out. We're having one-on-one training classes in person and online. So, Jerry, just give a piece of advice before we finish off the podcast to people that are struggling right now.
Yeah, man. Stay true to yourself. When you were younger, I'm 1,000% sure you had less money. But you had less stress also because you didn't have the goals that you have right now. The stress right now is because you're chasing big things. There's nothing wrong with it. It's completely natural. You're going to be fine. One step at a time. Work on the people around you. Communicate less with those that aren't excited about anything. It doesn't matter if they're a custodian. It doesn't matter if they are excited about what they do, how they serve or who they serve. Those are the type of people you need to be around. And if you can't find any, then you don't need to be around anyone. Focus on a podcast. Find yourself an influencer that tells their story as close to yours. Like, it is easy. It's not easy. It takes work. It takes time. But the solutions are there. They're just within you. You talk to yourself 99% of the day.
Yeah.
Make
sure that's good.
And it's not overnight. It takes time, but you need to find references that help reset that train of thought to ground you and make you feel in control again. And work hard. Do your best for people. Don't break your back for them because it's a tough world out there. You're going to learn that the hard way, but just in an organized way. There's a way that everybody can make it. And it's just communication, paper and pencil. Don't use your phone for notes. Paper and pencil, old school. It's helped me the best. Drawing that line across the to-do list is very satisfactory.
Yeah, for sure.
So do things like that. But, there's always a way.
There's always a way.
Especially if you love it. You'll find a way.
Jerry, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
Let's go.
Later.
In a little studio on the edge of town, Joshua and Jerry shooting the breeze around, talking about the small things that make life grand. Two kindred spirits with mics in their hand. Jerry's tales of laughter and tears from the heartland across the years. Dusty roads and southern skies, lessons learned and old goodbyes. Open road conversation setting our spirits free. Stories of life's journey like an old oak tree. Roots deep in memories, branches high and wide. Joshua and Jerry on this country ride. Talking about family, the ties that bind, legacy and love, treasures that we find. From front porch sin to dreams taking flight, the stories flow like a summer night. Whispers of the past and wild hopes ahead, threading through the laughter and words unsaid. Guitar strumming soft like a heart that speaks. Moments etched in time, the banter sweet. Open road conversations, setting our spirits free. Stories of life's journey like an old oak tree. Roots deep in memories, branches high and wide. Joshua and Jerry on this country ride. Of the past and wild hopes ahead, threading through the laughter and words unsaid. Guitar strumming softly like a heart that speaks. Moments etched in time, the banter sweet. Open road conversations, setting our spirits free. Stories of life's journey like an old oak tree. Roots deep in memories, branches high and wide. Joshua and Jerry on this country